everyone, so I am back, and since I gave you a video on how to calculate cubic roots mentally, I'm going to give you a video on how to do square roots in your head. Now, while the cubic roots video was absolutely flawless, this one gives you an approximation, okay? But a pretty good one still. I mean, you're going to be amazed everyone around you if you decide to do this. Like, I bet you I can tell you the cubic root, no, not the cubic root, because for that one you need the other video, the square root of any number, and they're like, no, you don't. And there you go, you can do it. So again, if you want the cubic root, because I was talking about the cubic roots, that's in the other video, the previous video to this one, and this one is how you do the square roots mentally, which unfortunately, while the first is flawless, this one gives you an approximation. Okay, so it's not exactly the same number, but it's still pretty good. So step-by-step guide is less like the other movie. Why did I say movie? Like the other video. So you need to have some knowledge of perfect squares, and I'm going to give you that in a second. You need to find the closest perfect square below the number that you were given. Look at the difference between those two numbers, and then do that difference over the double of the closest perfect square. And again, just like in the previous video, you're going to be like, what? You don't understand this step by step? Don't worry, because I'm going to explain that in a second to you. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to give you 3 examples, and then I'm going to show you this list again, and you're going to be like, oh, it makes sense. So, perfect squares. Actually, I forgot. I am going to tell you the perfect squares just before the example. So, in case you do not know, a perfect square is an integer that is the square of an integer. So, for example, 25. 25 times 25, that is going to give you 5. Oh my god. Now, what I mean is completely the opposite. 5 times 5 gives you 25. Sorry, long day, I'm tired. So 5 times 5 is 25. So that's an example of a perfect square. So in other words, it is the product of some integer with itself, okay, or by itself. I don't like the with itself there. Anyway, so I have here the perfect squares from 1 to 12. So I'm going to give you this just in case you remember. Oh my god, I'm saying so many silly things. It's not just in case you remember, it's just in case you don't remember and you need kind of these mental aids like I need right now to do these calculations. Okay, so there you go. 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, 81, 100, 121, and 144. That's for the squares of 1 to 12 respectively. Okay, so here we go, examples, and think about these numbers, this table. I'm gonna put the table there, exactly. All right, so imagine someone is going to go for you and they're like, oh, tell me the square root of 56. Well, the first thing is, what is the closest square that I'm gonna find? So it's closest and below. So I have 64 here and 49. So the closest is 7. 7 squared gives me 49, which is the closest and below to 56. So my answer is going to be 7 dot na 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 na. Now for the na 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 na, what I'm going to do is, the number is 56, and I do it minus 49, which is the result if I multiply 7 by 7, okay? Or minus 7 times minus 7. Anyway, so is going to be 49, right? So I do 56 minus 49, which is 7. So now this 7 here, I'm going to do this color coded because I have 2 7s in here and I don't want you to be confused. So this 7 stays on the top, while the other number, the 7, the first one in the result is going to be doubled. So 7 plus 7 is 14. So I do 7 divided by 14, that gives me 0.5. So I'm going to add this 0.5 to the 7, and this gives me 7.5. And I go and I say the square root of 56 is approximately 7.5. If I go on the calculator, I get 7.48. So that's pretty good, okay? So again, follow these steps that I gave you and everything is going to be fine, although it's not as perfect as the cubic roots, okay? So first example is given, let's go to another one, okay? So imagine square root of 86. Again, I'm gonna look at the closest number and I get 81. 9 times 9 or minus 9 times minus 9 gives me 81. So my result is gonna be 9 point na na na. To find the na na na, the remaining numbers, I do 86, which is the number people are asking me about, minus 81, which is the closest square below, okay? So 86 minus 81, that gives me 5. So again, this 5 goes on the top, 9 I double it, and I get 5 over 18, because 18 is the double of 9, and I get 0.27. So the square root of 86 is going to be 9.0, well, in this case 9.27, because that's going to be 9 plus 0.27. So this number is what it gives me in this method. And if I go on the calculator, square root of 86, there you go, 9.2736. So there we go, is almost perfect. It's not as good as the cubic roots. Check that video because it's so good. And finally, last example, so for you to see that this works as an approximation. Again, square root of 20. So again, I go and look for the closest square, and it's going to be 16 because the one next is 25, which is about 20, so I don't want that one. So my answer is going to be 4 point something. For the something, I do 20, the number they are asking me about, minus 16, which is the numbers that is the closest square, okay? And it gives me 4. Again, this 4 is going to be on the top. The other 4 is going to be doubled and going to be at the bottom, at the end. And it gives me 0.5, okay? So I'm going to add this 0.5 to the 4 points, and that's going to give me that the square root of 20 is approximately 4.5, okay? And again, I go on the calculator, and as you can see, it gives me 4.47. So again, is a pretty good approximation, okay? So, because the first time that I gave you the step-by-step, you were like, wow, confused, I'm going to show you the step-by-step again so you remember, like as a reinforcement, so you remember how to do this for a day that you do not have a calculator in your maths test or physics test or chemistry test and you need it, okay? So step by step, you need to have some knowledge of perfect squares. Then you find the closest perfect square below the number they are giving you, they are asking you about. Then you look at the difference between the two numbers and you do that difference, that number, over the double of the closest perfect square, the one that would give you that perfect square, okay? And there you go, you add the two numbers together, which is something that I missed in my step-by-step. So, I hope it made sense. I hope you enjoy these videos because I find it really amazing how you can do these things, these hacks. I love them. So I hope you enjoy them. Check my riddle as well. It's one of my favorite riddles, the one that crack the codes, because, you know, it gives you work. So I like it. So anyway, check those videos as well. And up to my next videos, be happy and healthy. Bye!